The numbers are in for PlayStation as it pertains to their quarterly earnings. The question now is PlayStation on a downward trend? Well, let's get into all that up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. So recently, Sony released their quarterly numbers, and when big companies do things like this, it really offers us a look under the microscope as far as how the company is faring overall. Now, I want to preface this by saying that no, I don't think there's any reason for absurd panic within the world of PlayStation. Rather, there are some numbers here that could possibly highlight PlayStation's biggest problems during this console generation. First, let's start off with the positive. The PS5 sold a pretty sizable 18.5 million units last quarter, bringing that grand total up to 77.8 million lifetime units. Revenue for the company is up 9% for the year, operating profit rose 43%, network services rose 23%, and software sales rose around 14%. But hardware revenue dropped by 6%, and first-party software also seen a decline, mainly because it's been a rather slow year in that department. So the bulk of this is good for PlayStation, and you'd think there's legit no reason to be down on them, right? Well, I'm not entirely too sold on this prospect just yet, and this comes down to the lovely word I like to use quite often nowadays, and that has to be context. I do think it's no secret that the PS5 is nowhere near where the PlayStation 4 was at this point in its life, despite that 77.8 million units being sold overall. This number is just a tad bit lower than what the PlayStation 4 was. This signals to me that the PS5 might have stagnated a bit as far as this console generation goes, which to me isn't all that great given the rising prices we've seen all throughout gaming. And quite honestly, if you don't think that PlayStation is currently mulling over raising its prices in a few short months, I'd say you may be wrong because I fully expect that to happen. And we all know the cost of making AAA games isn't really helping this cause either. In turn, if you were smart with your money, you wouldn't pump even more money into the video game development unless you're seeing that same money in return. Honestly, if not more. For the case of the PS5, it's simply not attracting more users than that of the PS4. And that's not an opinion, that is a fact. And it's been a proven fact that a lot of PlayStation's money it's currently getting is still coming from the PS4 user base that is still very active. The results of this now force Sony to find new ways to make money from the PS5 only games, and this is where that multi-platform strategy rears its ugly head once more. And titles like Helldivers 2, Spider-Man 2, and God of War Ragnarok now being on the PC prove that this strategy works, and it might be the way forward for PlayStation. And I do think the PC will start to become a very vital part of PlayStation's plans moving forward, giving them access to that money they've been looking for. And I do think over the next 5 years, we will see a rather dramatic shift in PlayStation's business model, which, judging by these numbers, will focus more on monthly active users. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this one off to you guys. What do you think about all this? Do you think there's any, and I mean any, shred of reason to kind of doubt these numbers? But that about does it here. I've been Kalo, I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.